Welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas. We've been doing this for 10 days so far. Today is day 10, and we're ditching all the traditional art supplies and going digital. Not only are we going digital, but we're going pink for Christmas. Yes, that's right. I have my color on, my table set up with some pink things, and we're also going to think about cacti. We're going to take a deep dive into some folk art style digital paintings. So let's jump into it. Okay, so here we have my iPad Pro. I love this size. I think this is a 12-inch size. And instead of diving into our typical Procreate app, we're skipping right over that one and jumping into our Photoshop app. And I messed around with this yesterday and a couple days ago. And let's just talk about the immense improvement that Adobe Cloud has done to the Photoshop iPad app. They have stepped up their game to the point where I think they should completely eliminate the Fresco app. I was highly disappointed. So here are all my digital art apps, and the Fresco app is by far the worst thing I've ever experienced. There are some apps that I do like. Freeform is one that comes with the iPad. I love using this for brainstorming. I don't use it as often as I should, but my first impressions on it were very fun. I use a mannequin app every now and then. This art set app was so much fun. Definitely recommend if you're looking for something that is free. Sketchbook is also another fun one. And I haven't checked the updates on the Adobe Illustrator, but I'm so excited, especially for vector art. I love using all of the Creative Cloud apps on my computer. So with that being said, they also updated Lightroom for the iPad. There's so many updates, so definitely check them out. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but Creative Cloud, Adobe, if you would love to sponsor me, I'd be a very glad and proud sponsor. Okay, so things are pretty similar to the computer desktop app. You, of course, have your home button that takes you back to your other projects. You have your select tool, and you also have the option to auto select a layer on the canvas. You also have your canvas distortion tool, so you can either change the size of things and skew and all those fun things in there. There's also your different marquee tools if you double click on that. So clicking once will take you to the mini icons. The clicking again takes you to the other actions. You have your brush tools again, your eyedropper, your paint. So I love this, that you can just switch back and forth between that, and you also have that down here. You also have your size indicator that you can use, your brush opacity, and you have more actions in here within that brush, so you can change the blend modes, roundness, angle, all of that stuff to modify your brush. Now if you click that again, this is the important part of the Photoshop app. This is where you have all your brush types. And for today's brushes, I'm going to be sticking to the gouache tilt and the wet gouache. I'm also interested in some of the textures. So depending on where we land, I might add some extra textures on top of the final piece. There's also a bunch of watercolor brushes in here. I'm not sure if this is from when I downloaded things to my PC desktop app. So, not sure if these are included or if that's a download that I made. Then we have the eraser tool. Double click again. You have different types of erasers. So this is a little bit different than the desktop app. You have your healing tool situation here. So that's always fun. And then you have your increased opacity and all the other tools that are pretty similar to the things that you use. So up here you have your settings tool. You have a bunch of other information here that you can change. So I like to keep mine on dark mode, and I have the layers icon that I can add my different layers on, adjust the layer, all these typical Photoshop things. You even have your libraries link, so that's nice. Then you have your traditional way of viewing things. So your layers, you can also show your properties, or you can just take it having these layers and properties and also keep your layers off to the side. So the fun thing is that they have like the important tools over here. So let's say you did have 2 layers, and instead of going to a specific layer and hiding that layer, or let's say we have our properties in our layer panel out to the traditional look, instead of us hitting that particular layer, we can always just, click on and off here just to see if that additional drawing worked. So that's a nice feature. The last thing I forgot to mention is I'm used to Procreate being able to slide over and do those type of features. I think the only thing you can do is slide over twice to pick multiple layers, but you cannot slide the other direction. So let's say we don't want these 2 layers or we want to lock them. You will automatically see the lock come up and you can lock those layers, or you can click the 3 dots and either duplicate or delete them. I think I have a main layer, so I cannot delete all of them, but I'm just going to delete that one, and I'm actually going to create a new layer, and that way I can delete this one. So that's a super fast tutorial overview of the updates, things that are pretty much similar to other situations with the Photoshop app. Another fun feature that I really love is this button here. So this button, let me fill this with white, and I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to actually lock that layer, create a new layer, and let's say that we were, also 2 fingers to undo. I think 3 fingers to redo. And so that's pretty typical to most digital apps. I from what I've come across, there's of course like minor differences with other apps. Okay, so the one thing about this button that I really like is if you're drawing and let's say I want to erase, I am going to hold that button and erase. If I want to eyedropper tool, I can hold that button and move to the right and find the color that I want and select it, and you can see that I've selected white, so of course it looks like I'm erasing. And the other thing that you can do, I believe, yes, you can move it to the other side. So if you're lefty and you're wanting to, move things around, for sure possible. So that's holding and pressing that and switching over. All right, so let's get into the fun stuff and get drawing. So I went through all the updates and I checked everything out, and things run so smoothly. I'm very impressed. So we're going to get started with a new one. And I'm also going to pull up Pinterest off to the side. And for this scheme, I was considering having so here are all my boards, too many to manage. So I was considering having a fireplace folk style art piece for today. Oh no, did I not pin those? Yes. So this was my main inspiration, and I can show you that in a larger format. So this here, love the illustrative quality. I love the limited detail, very minimalist and illustrative. So I'm gonna look to this image as inspiration, but I'm also going to be looking at realistic fireplaces. I think I pinned them yesterday. I don't think they saved. Oh no. Maybe I pinned them somewhere else. Possibly. Let me find those and I will get back to you. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't know where I placed those pins. I thought I placed them in my winter category. But I think I'm going to use this pin here as inspiration. This pin here as additional inspiration. I love these books. I love this pin here and the idea of creating sort of a centerpiece on the top, but I'm going to just keep this open on the side like that so that I have all of those accessible, and I'm gonna get started. Look at how cute my drink is, guys. It's a little iced coffee with a little hot chocolate sprinkled on top for garnish. So cute. Was feeling cozy. Great. So let's do a quick check-in on where I am. Okay. So far we have our fireplace drawn, our little rug, some presents underneath our cactus tree, and I have, so actually let me bring this layer up to the top. You can see that I have my my garland over my fireplace, my fire area, some books, a little coffee pot, and a landscape that reminds me of my last video and the little scene that I created out of polymer clay. Definitely check out that video. Look at how cute that is. That's my favorite part of the entire illustration. My little candles and my cactus tree. So right now, some detail is, this is probably going to take me a while. I have to constantly take breaks, which is part of the reason why I don't do digital work as often. Something about the heat of the iPad and the nerves in my hands tend to make things fall asleep. So I got this paper-like pen grip, and it does help a lot. So I'm not sure if it's like, me pressing too tightly on my pen or if it's the heat transfer, but every now and then I do have to tend to stretch and, stop my art because of that. I don't experience that too often with analog art, which is strange to me, but I'm going to jump back into this and dive into, so right now I'm doing color blocking. I do have my roundabout sort of color scheme right here. So yeah, let's continue, and I will see you soon. Just checking in. I I have made such huge progress. I'm in love with this little illustration. I think my favorite thing is for sure the cactus. I only have one, so cactus. And I think I'm at a good spot. Oh, yes, and I also love the painting within the painting. How freaking cute is this? This could just be an illustration on its own. I am now going to add detail. So I think I did a good job at color blocking. So like detail, you would say like what more detail, right? I want to clean things up with a fireplace. I definitely want to add like little bulbs hanging from the garland on the mantle. I do want to add a wallpaper, and probably going to be something subtle because there's so much going on already. And then things like shadow and texture. So I'm going to play around with a couple of the texture brushes down here, and I think I should be done. And I probably want to, edit the star a bit. So that's where I'm at, and I'm having so much fun. I definitely love the Photoshop iPad app, without a doubt. Like, it's just been such a smooth ride. I wouldn't say it's been perfect, but it's definitely a 9 out of 10. There's a couple things that I've noticed, like glitching with the brushes. So when I was coloring an area somewhere around here, I noticed that after a certain point, it did erase a couple of lines, but I don't think that's out of the norm for these types of apps. I've noticed that in other apps too, where the brush tends to skip. The other thing that I think might be just a custom or getting used to situation is the way to make shapes. So I was making this circle and then I paused and I expected it to snap into a circle like another app like Procreate, but it doesn't do that. So I think that's more of I have to find the shortcut to getting that. I'm not sure if there even is a shortcut for that, but that's not a major issue. I'm kind of glad I didn't go with a perfect circle because nothing is technically, perfectly circular in this illustration. But I'm going to continue adding the detail. So just to reiterate, I'm going to add the wall covering, and then add some bulbs, and then shadow and texture. So yeah, see you soon. What would a YouTube video be without some type of technical error? So the audio for this particular video did not record. So I'm going to try to remember what I said. Well, it's done. Super fun. I had a ton of fun making this in Photoshop. I still cannot put the two together that I made an illustration in Photoshop and not Procreate. I'm so used to creating Procreate illustrations that it was so natural using this app. I loved all the experience that I had with it. I think maybe two sort of cons. I wouldn't even call them cons, they're more so learning curves. I think overall the illustration turned out pretty fun. I'm mentioning here how I had a really hard time with the fire logs and the fireplace. And as I look at the image more, I realize it's because I have the image in a flat view with the flooring and the rug, and the fireplace interior is the only thing in perspective. And I think that was the challenge. If I were to go back and edit this, which I can, I will probably adjust the interior of the fireplace, mainly because I was striving for a flat 2D illustration intentionally. I do love when illustrations tend to look without perspective. I don't know exactly what that style is, but the layer portion was most definitely easy to use. I love the different options that they had with the layers and then the properties and the smaller portion layers. I also noticed a really cool feature too. I don't know if you paid attention, but I was able to add the swatches that I created as additional swatch palettes. So that's a new thing that I learned along the way. Some other things that I really liked were the adjustability of the different tools and things like that. I would love to dive into more brushes for sure. I loved the gouache tilt brush. So that is pretty much it for today's video. If you like this video, definitely like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for day 11.